Yeah, so the Internet of Things in terms of connected devices has been around for a number of years now, but what we've seen in recent years is the cost of connectivity, the cost of storage, the cost of computing power has fallen so low that we're just seeing massive adoption. And so whereas in the last few years, it's been manufacturing industry that's really been leading this in transportation. Now we're seeing consumer electronics really take off as the #1 area of growth. And so this is just bringing a whole new set of users into the place, and it's also taking IoT around the world to places that previously it hadn't seen. Absolutely. I mean, what you're seeing, if you look at the fastest growing area for IoT in terms of use case, is actually connected airports. And so we're really seeing a whole different type of issue area beyond simply just factories and industrial applications. Yeah, so 5G is going to take us really to a whole new era in terms of the types of devices. If you think back the transition between your first mobile phone that you had and the phones that we have today, really a dramatic change, and that 5G has the potential to see a similar transformation. And what it's going to bring now is the ability to have augmented intelligence. So to really enable someone at an instantaneous point in time to have access to the world of knowledge just at your fingertips. Sure. So the best smart city is a smart city that you don't see at all. Everything just happens seamlessly. Now, the first wave of smart cities were a number of different smart projects, but we haven't really yet seen a full interconnected city where it's seamless, so that regardless of if you're traveling, if you're parking, if you're going home, that everything just works in a much more efficient way. And that's where we're leading to, but it takes a lot of work, and it takes governments working together internally, but also working together with the private sector. Absolutely. I think what you're going to see in the next couple of years is the greatest changes are in those emerging markets. That traditionally the investment's been happening in the US and China and in Japan. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing the Middle East, we're seeing Latin America have growth rates that are in the 25–30% compounded annual growth. And that's going to lead to a lot of new innovation in these emerging markets, new use cases, new areas for economic growth. Yeah, so really this year it's about new collaboration between different entities that previously hadn't come together. So a lot of public and private sector partnership, but beyond the traditional sort of public-private partnership that we've talked about, this is really about changing business models to understand areas where the private sector, it's in their interest to do work that maybe government traditionally did, and data sharing is really the big focus areas. How can we begin to share data not only among governments and the private sector, but among previous industry competitors? Yeah, I think actually one of the areas that is most exciting in IoT right now is remote monitoring and remote diagnosis of health conditions. So one of the areas that we're seeing this really expand is in Japan, where you have a rapidly aging society, and they have in many ways no choice because of their limited workforce to find new ways to monitor the health, to identify earlier on potential problems. It's going to save a lot of money to the healthcare system. It's ultimately going to extend lives as well. I think that we haven't yet figured out how to work seamlessly with our technology. Right now it's a bit forced. We ask a question, we get an answer, and that what we need to begin to move towards is an area that technology just simply makes our life easier. It does tasks for us, we don't have to ask for it. That's where we're moving, but we have a transition that has to occur. It's a little rough and uneasy right now, but I do believe that give it a few years, it's going to make our life easier. It's going to enable us to focus our time and energy on things that the robots, the machines can't do on their own. We need to really think about the data that we're capturing. Right now, we've been capturing as much data as we can, and then we figure once we have it, we'll figure out what to do with it. We need to change that mindset. We need to begin to be more conservative, and we need to say, okay, do we need this data? What are the potential benefits of having it, and what are the potential risks? That's a mind shift that needs to happen. It's going to happen, I think, in the next couple of years, but we need to be thinking not only about the sort of ethical implications, but the privacy and perhaps most importantly, the security implications. Every time that we capture data, we open up a new window for a security breach and for a violation of privacy.